Hey guys, how are you? I just got a message that my connection is poor. So if you're here, if you're joining me live, please shoot me a little note that you can see me, that you can hear me, that everything is okay. All right, so you saw my title above, right? Why this nurse is breaking up with hand washing. I do want to say that I do still wash my hands and that of my children, okay? So I just want to put it out there. I am being a little bit sassy, but I'm going to tell you why. So as a registered nurse, we're kind of led to believe that hand washing is the end-all, be-all for protecting yourself against getting sick. To the point where, and my fellow friends that are in the medical field can relate, but it's to the point where we actually get observed, supervised, and tested on our skill of washing our hands. So if we're doing it properly, if we're washing our hands long enough, scrubbing anywhere, if we use paper towels to shut off the handles after we're done washing our hands, instead of washing our hands and then shutting off the handle with our hands that were just cleaned and now they're dirty. So you might even see yourself, if you go to visit anybody in the hospital, you walk in and there's Purell stations all over and there's signs talking to you about washing your hands everywhere. So sure, that's a good thing, right? I do feel that hand washing is important. However, I also feel that it's sort of what's pushed all the time without really looking at the other pieces of the puzzle. So I think it's important but small piece of the overall puzzle of how to get yourself, keep yourself safe against cold and flu season. Now, this doesn't mean that you'll never get sick, but these tips that we're going to be talking about today will help you, definitely. So today I'm going to be discussing 3 ways that are effective, just as effective or maybe even more effective than hand washing when it comes to protecting yourself against the germs of cold and flu season. All right, so welcome to Wonder Wednesday. Thanks for joining me live or replay. If you're here live, say hi. If you're joining me for the replay, please comment replay so I can come back and thank you for watching afterwards. I do like to interact with all you guys. And I'm Tara. I'm a registered nurse, I'm a nutritionist, and I am a personal trainer. So, all right, let's start with talking about hand washing. So here's the issue with hand washing. We can wash our hands until they're red and raw and dry, which people that work in the hospital, they do that, and you may still get sick. And why is that? Well, we are constantly surrounded by germs. So, you wash your hands and then the very next thing that you touch, you've got germs again. Or, I should start by saying, even when you wash your hands, you're not getting rid of all the germs. Then you go to eat something or you drink something, and on average, not to gross anybody out, but on average, everything that you eat or drink has somewhere usually between 1 million and 1 billion different critters in it, microbes they call it, which is a better term. So we're talking about bacteria, viruses, mold, fungus, anything like that. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Not all of these little critters in our food and drink and on the surface everywhere are actually going to be germs that get us sick, okay? But some of them are. So sure, go ahead and wash your hands, but please, please, please focus on these other things that I'm going to be talking about, which is going to boost your immune system from the inside and help your body to fight off the illness. Because truth be told, when you are not sick, it's not because you washed away all the germs. We're still breathing it in. We're still taking it in through our food. It just means that your body was strong enough to fight off the germs that you took in. If you're joining me live, please say hi. I want to thank you for joining me. Okay, so the number 1 tip is your nutrition. And you probably could have guessed that I would have been talking about that today. I love to talk about nutrition. One thing that you can do to boost your nutrition levels so that your body can fight off these germs is to make sure that you don't have any nutrient deficiencies, or at least do your best to cover the bases. So I'm not specifically talking about supplements here in this live video today. We might be able to discuss that another time. However, I am talking about just upgrading your nutrition by, you probably know what you can do. Maybe you could add some more vegetables into your day. Maybe you're a rock star with drinking green smoothies, but you very rarely eat, the other colors of the rainbow, like red or yellow or orange vegetables, and you can do that. Those tend to be higher in vitamin C, and that'll help you fight against the flu and cold germs. Maybe it's something as simple as eating an appropriate amount of food for you, because if we're taking in more food than we need, and of course more processed food and more chemicals, then our body is a bit stressed and working a little bit harder to try to get through all that and digest it, and your body can't really focus on keeping you healthy. It's working through all that food. So try to work on eating an appropriate amount of food for you. Too little or too much, and your body's going to be stressed out. Another thing is to build up a strong microbiome. So some of these critters I was talking about, they are really good for us, right? So these are things like probiotics, I'm sure you've heard of. So whether or not you're supplementing with probiotics, even just eating a little bit of fermented foods throughout your day can really help. Whether you have it on a daily basis or maybe several times a week. So things like yogurt, and if you can't do dairy, they do make yogurt out of coconut milk and almond milk and all these types of things. You can, if you're really adventurous, you can try to do things like kimchi, which is like a little spicier Asian fermented vegetables. Sauerkraut, but you have to make sure you get the real sauerkraut, because most sauerkraut out there is kind of just pickled and it's not really fermented. So look for real sauerkraut. So adding those into your days, or at least into your weeks, are going to help to boost up your immune system, because this way when you're swallowing germs, then your microbiome inside your gut has a chance to fight them off. And one more note I want to make about your microbiome and your gut health is that we need acid in our stomachs, the right amount of acid, the right pH in our stomachs, in order to be able to fight off the germs, okay? A lot of these germs don't like acidic environments, and so that's where they are killed off before you ever get a sniffle or a sneeze or anything. One thing that I see so much with this is so many of us are put on antacids, either on a regular basis or you just pop them as needed. And the problem with that is that we're reducing the amount of acid that can fight off these germs, and even though you think it might be helping your acid reflux, your heartburn, in some cases it is, but in other cases it actually could be making it worse. So I just want to point out one scenario that happens pretty often. Sometimes we have too little acid. This is called hydrochloric acid. That's the acid that's in our stomachs. And if that's actually too low, the sphincter that closes so that the food can't go back up and cause heartburn is not told to close, because it has sensors. So this is my fist is the sphincter, okay? And there's sensors at the bottom of the sphincter that know when something is acidic, and it closes it off so that the food can't go back up if it's working properly. Now, if you bring down the level of acid in your stomach, it's not told to close, and then you're still going to have that heartburn. So what happens? We're prescribed more antacids or acid blockers, and then the problem only gets worse. So I'm not saying that this is your situation. I'm just letting you know that this is very, very common, and maybe it's something that you want to talk to your healthcare provider about, because maybe this is you. And if you are experiencing acid reflux or heartburn, and you're also noticing that you're getting sick pretty often, this could be a situation where it's kind of a simple fix and you just have to wean yourself off of these antacids. Please talk to your healthcare provider before making those changes, okay? I don't know you personally. Okay, so that's it. So number one tip is to boost up your nutrition so that you're boosting up your immunity. Number two, let's talk about movement. So I see a couple people are live, but I can't see who you are. So if you're daring enough and you want to say hi so I can say hi back, please. One of the reasons I love doing these live videos is so I can be interactive with you guys. So anyway, number two is movement. We've got a system within our body called the lymphatic system, and this houses a lot of your immunity, a lot of your white blood cells, It includes your glands, also known as your lymph nodes. So you see that word lymph, and it's got what's called lymph fluid. Okay, so this fluid is running in and out of this piping system, let's call it, like plumbing inside your body. Just like your blood runs through vessels, the only difference is in your blood vessels, you've got pumps throughout the way. Your heart's pumping, and you've got different valves that help the blood to constantly circulate, even if you're lying down flat. However, in our lymphatic system, we need our body to move. The muscles are what actually pumps the lymph back and forth and helps your body to detoxify itself and get rid of germs. So if you're not getting enough and proper movement for your body, you are seriously debilitating yourself in terms of being able to fight off germs. So I'm not talking about having to do an hour-long CrossFit WOD every day. I'm not even talking about lifting weights every day or anything crazy. I'm talking about getting your few workouts in throughout the day, and on the rest of your time just trying to move as much as you can. So go for walks here and there. Maybe stand up when you're having a phone conversation, or walk a little farther. All of these things that you've heard before, you know how to get yourself moving more, but just try to do them. That's going to help you to fight off the germs too. And important with movement also is that you need the right amount and intensity. So this is another thing where if you have too little movement or too much, those are things that can be stressful on your body. There's absolutely a way to move too much and too intense where you can get sick. Just ask anybody who has run a marathon and find out if they've had any kind of serious cold or flu just before or just after race day. Okay, it's very, very common, and it's not a coincidence. So just ask around. And then number 3, another tip that you can work on so that you can improve your immune system for this season is sleep. So sleep is that often 4-letter word for us, because so many people have so much trouble. A lot of people know that they're not sleeping well, and they just don't know what to do to change it. So let me tell you why the sleep is important. When you're sleeping, this is your body's chance to restore, to repair, to recover from whatever you've done. This is the time that your body is going in, sending out its soldiers, and kind of fixing everything up, okay? You need the right amount, and you need the right high quality sleep in order for this to be beneficial for you. So if you're a mom and you've got young children, you may be cursing at me right now because you want sleep but you're not getting it. If you are a shift worker, I did the night shift for, I don't know, maybe 7 years. I know what that's like. It's tough. You may not be able to, I see a like, hey Steph, you may not be able to control exactly how much sleep you're getting, but what you can do is you control your behaviors around sleep. Hey, so this could be something as simple as giving yourself a little nighttime routine to wind down before bed. So again, you can't say, I'm going to get 8 hours of quality sleep tonight, but you can say, I'm going to shut my phone off 10 minutes before I go to bed tonight. And then maybe next week you work on shutting it off 15 or 20 minutes before you go to bed. And start to get yourself into like a little evening routine. Because you know what, when we wake up in the morning, we don't expect ourselves to go from 0 to 100 right away. We're not like, yay, we're up for the day, right? We may need a shower to wake up. We take our time getting dressed or whatever. There's usually something. We drink coffee, whatever we do. We've got some little ritual that we do to get us up for the morning. On the other hand, when we're going to sleep, we shouldn't expect that we're going to go from 100 right to 0 right away either. We kind of need to do something to unwind a little bit. So sleep is one of those things that instead of focusing on the outcome, the amount of sleep that you're exactly going to get, just focus on changing the little behaviors beforehand and see how that works for you. You may find that you're sleeping much better. And if you are somebody who has a child that wakes you up once, twice, or all night long, you might have to go to bed a little earlier and get longer broken sleep instead of just getting, instead of 6 hours of broken sleep, maybe you can get 8 hours of broken sleep, and that's always going to be a little bit better. So sleep is something that's very important for our immune system, and that you might find that just a few nights of terrible sleep and you find yourself already with a sore throat or something. That happens to so many people because that sleep is the time that your body is really going in and kind of cleaning up whatever's around. All right. So nutrition, sleep, and movement are 3 areas that you can try to work on to boost your immune system and not have to hang your hat up on just washing your hands a million times a day. So if you guys want more tips and you want to dive in deeper on this topic of immunity, I have a private Facebook group of really awesome people that are just always looking to make better choices for themselves and their families. It's called Lean In with Tara Allen Health. I will post the link up, down, maybe both. I'll post it both places after this video is over. And come on over, join the group. It's a bunch of non-judgy people, and we just have a good time. And next week, I'm going to be doing an entire immunity takeover inside the group, where I'm going to be talking about sleep, nutrition, and movement even more. I'm going to be sharing some immune boosting recipes, and we'll be talking about supplements as well. We're also going to be talking about how to eat and move your body once you are already sick, right? You might have heard, do you feed a cold and starve a fever, or vice versa, all that stuff. We're gonna be talking about that inside the group next week. So go ahead and join if that sounds like something you'd like. You can share this with anybody else that you think would fit in well with what we're talking about. And on this Wonder Wednesday, I'm wondering, what is one thing in your nutrition, sleep, or movement, one tiny, tiny little baby step that you can start working on today so that your body will be able to fight off cold and flu germs a little bit better this year? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear what your goal is, and come on over and join us in the group. I'll see you in the next video.